to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to these YouTube streets. I know it's after 1 o'clock in the morning. This is your home girl. Bosa. 914, Washington County, New York, the BT 1000. I don't know who's going to hear this video. I'm just going to leave it up. Whoever's not here, they can catch the replay. But shout out to the chat. Shout out to my supporters. And shout out to some of my YouTube creators. I believe Thaddeus is still live right now. He began his live earlier, a couple of hours earlier, and it's right now he's still on. I don't mean no harm. Thaddeus, he's a nice dude and everything, but he be boring as fuck. He got an all-male panel up there right now, and Ro Rich is on the damn panel. I don't even know. This is the same dude that says he don't want to have nothing to do with the rabbits, but every time you look around, he's always around the rabbits. This is crazy. This is crazy. And I don't mean no harm, but the last couple of days on this app have been interesting, but today it was dead. I don't care how many people went live, who didn't go live. The YouTube streets was dead today. It was dead. I was watching some movies today, right? And after I finished watching the Denzel movie Flight, I got back on the YouTube streets and I started hunting for, some more shows or some more movies. And I came across this one particular movie. I think it's either a movie or TV series. I don't know if they still have it out or not, but that particular piece of artwork was called Them. And I remember seeing one of the clips where there was a white woman. She was standing outside. She was singing. And she asked that black lady if she could have her baby. The lady told her to go away. And I don't know how that white woman got in that house. And the thing was just so scary. I was like, wow. And then I started watching more clips of that particular show I'm telling you guys about. I don't know if it's a show or a movie. Only thing I did was watch the clips. And the thing was just, it seemed like it was good, but it was creepy at the same time.
Power off.
That's how it felt like to me. It was good, but creepy at the same damn time. My Bluetooth speaker just turned off. I bought this Bluetooth speaker a few days ago, and I know it comes from the same company I bought the other one I had before. This one acts totally different from the other one. The other one I had, I plugged it in. You could keep it charged, and it would never turn off. It would constantly stay on, and it had this nice light to it. This one, oh no, this one got an attitude. It got a funny style. It keeps turning off when I'm not using it, but it stays charged. It stays charged. Shout out to the chat. It stays charged. But yeah, man. These YouTube streets have been dead today. It was more live yesterday. I think Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, it was more live, it was more jumping. It was more happening. I guess people were at odds with each other. They was fighting each other, and so on and so on. And I did a short video today where I shared about Mother Emanuel. And there's a song that I chose to play for that particular video. And it's called How Can I Ease the Pain? And I know everyone remembers that song. I know everyone loved that song when that song came out. And the particular woman that sings that song, you know, she's no longer a singer. She came out with that one, but she came out with an album a few years ago. And she came out with that one beautiful ballad. And then after that, you didn't hear no more about her. You didn't hear no more from her. And it's just like Phyllis Hyman said. It seems like, and I've seemed to notice it too. It seems like they want non-talented people to have record deals, albums, certain musical contracts. They want those people that have no talent. And that's why the music industry has changed so fucking much. I mean, I know we got Adele, we got a few other good singers, and that's about it. That's about it. Shout out to the chat. The music industry is not what it used to be. The music was different. The singers were different. The performances were different. The entertainment was different then. It had a different vibe. It was more relatable. I should say it like that. It was more relatable. I don't know what it is now. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what's happening. And it just seems like some of these movies that they're coming out with now, they're supposed to be horror flicks, are so twisted and unbelievable. I remember when I was going to college, because I went to college for a little while, everyone. This was like years ago. This is like, damn, I want to say it was like maybe a year or two before I left New York. And I was going to Westchester Community College. I was an art major. And I remember some of the students there, they was like into the filming thing. And I remember them always posting things for zombies and such, whatever it was. But I do remember that. And I remember some of the artwork that they used to post in some of these halls. And some of it was very, very good. Something I could actually understand. But the abstract drawings and the abstract paintings, they were beautiful too. But it had a different twist to it. You know what I'm saying? It had a different feel to it. I mean, that stuff that those students did was actually artwork. Like when you go into a museum now, that crap, people just take the paint and throw it on the canvas and call it art. That is not fucking art. That is not fucking art expression. And I think that's set up for the people that are plants. But those that are not plants have to work extra hard in order to go somewhere with their talents. You have to work extra hard at it. Because like I said, I was an art major when I was going to WCC. And I used to draw and sketch for years. I mean, I started out as a child doing it. That was my way of expressing myself. I went so far a couple of years ago before I moved to Charleston. I was trying to get my stuff out there. But through like different licensing firms and stuff that dealt with artists. And when you go into like Walmart or JCPenney and stuff like that, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Just think for a minute. When you go into the section of the store where they sell the bedding merchandise, I'm talking about the towels, the pillowcases, the bed sheets, the blankets, the comforters, the curtains. When you see the printing on some of that stuff in there that I'm mentioning, that all comes from people being licensed artists, putting their artwork out there, and their artwork is selling in that form. Shout out to the chat. I didn't think there was a such thing as that, but it is. And then that's when I started thinking a little deeper about that situation. You know what I mean? But I never got anything copywritten or anything like that. And a lot of my artwork I just kept, or gave to my siblings and stuff. Like if I was getting ready to move, I would just send all the stuff to the siblings, and they kept it. You know what I mean? I think some of them still have some of my pieces today, but I tell you, it's a trip. I'm like up in this house right now, and I'm looking around the house. I just went into the kitchen and turned off the light. I just said the Bluetooth just went off just a few minutes ago. So the house is like completely dark right now. The house is like completely dark right now. It's real quiet in here. And I believe someone is getting ready to move next door because I saw them on Friday. Remember, you guys, I walked downtown Friday to go to the destination, to go to the office, to get on the ticket, to go to work. So I could have made me some money that day. And for some reason, they didn't have any tickets for me to go on, which I find it very strange because I came on a fucking Friday. And most of the people that were there that was able to go out, they all went out on repeat tickets. So there was no ticket for me to go on. There was absolutely nothing for me to go on. So I didn't even take the bus. I didn't try to get on the bus. I just walked back home because I felt like I needed to exercise. I didn't really have the phone playing because the battery was dying. So I said, forget it. Let me just go home. Let me get settled in. Boom, boom, boom. That was it. So ever since Friday, I really haven't been outside this house but once. But one time, and that was to go to the store to buy me something to eat. Other than that, nah, I ain't really played with it. But it looks like they're getting ready to move somebody in here next door, probably in the next few days. And that apartment has been empty for a couple of months now, for a good 2, maybe 3 months now. Because I remember those people that lived next door to me, they had moved out. And the people came. It just seemed like they came right away and they cleared out that whole apartment. They redid everything for that apartment, painted, all that. You know, that's a 3-bedroom apartment. I didn't know that. That's a 3-bedroom apartment. That apartment is set up just like mine's, but it has 3 bedrooms. And the people that live next door to me, they had like, I don't know how many kids, but it seemed like those kids never went to sleep at night. That's what it seemed like to me. It seemed like those children never went to sleep at night. And they used to fuck with me because I was working at Walmart at the time. So, of course, when I came back home in the morning, I wanted to get my sleep. I could hardly get any real good rest. I had my good days and I had my bad days. I had my good days and I had my bad days. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, man. So far we talked about what happened on the YouTube streets, what's going on right now, art licensing, and I'm talking about them possibly getting ready to rent that apartment that's right next door to me. And I don't mean no harm, you guys. I do not feel like going through that bullshit again. Somebody moving here with a lot of them fucking little kids, and all of them fucking kids do is make noise all day and all night. It didn't make any fucking sense. The mother, anytime I saw the mother was always dressed very nicely. She had her hair done, but every time you saw those children, they always looked defeated. Their clothes was raggedy. They looked dusty. They looked dusty. And the man she had living there, he was a horrible person. He worked for the city, but he was a horrible, horrible person. Especially to that woman. Because sometimes I would be in this apartment and I would hear them just in there fighting, and he'd be beating her up. He'd be beating her, and there was one time he left and he was like, I'm not coming back over here no more. Don't you know that stupid ass bitch got in her truck talking about she looking for him? Ain't no way in the world I'm going to be looking for somebody that just beat my ass. Some of you bitches are just stupid as fuck. You're ignorant as fuck. You have no self-pride. You have no pride, some of you women. And it's not like she was in her 20s or nothing like that. I can tell just by looking at her, she had to been like in her late 30s. You know what I'm saying? And she had all them kids. All them fucking kids. Now, the man said that all them kids was his. I don't necessarily believe that, but I didn't really get in their business. But they had one relative that was living there with them, a female, and she was kind of on the slow side. She was kind of on the slow side because every time she used to see me, she's just like, hey, what's going on? And she be wanting to talk, but I could tell there was something wrong with her. You know. And sometimes she used to sit outside her house all day. I would leave and go to work, come back, the woman's still sitting outside. I hated that shit because it made me feel like she was trying to be nosy. You know what I mean? Because the other neighbors I got, now I'm going to tell you guys, I want y'all to listen to me real close. In the part of the apartments I live in, there's only 2 residents over here. It's me and another couple. Everyone else moved out. And some people moved out of that part where the fencing is. Some people, these apartments are not what they used to be. I'm telling you, when I first moved over here, it was wild, it was crazy, it was off the chain. Now it's like a ghost town. And I don't know what to say, but yeah, because one of our neighbors, he just moved out a few weeks ago. I've noticed that none of the maintenance people have been over there to clean the apartment or paint it or do nothing to it. But before that man left, he cleaned out the apartment real good. He got everything out. From the way it looks, he got rid of all his own debris, all his own trash, all that. And he seemed to be a pretty neat person, pretty clean. You know what I mean? But he didn't have that apartment because he was renting an apartment. Nah, there was a dude that was living there before all them people. And I think that was like one of his family members. The dude ended up moving out. He ended up moving out. And he just let his family stay there. Now, I don't know how they situated the rent situation, but that was happening. And I remember, the only reason why I remember the dude that lived like right across from me is because he used to always date white women. He used to, every time I looked up, he would bring home a different white lady. And the white ladies, I used to see them sometimes. They used to be at the store and all that. And they was very nice people. Trust me. Nice and very helpful. You know what I mean? Didn't bother nobody. And I noticed nobody in the neighborhood bothered them. Nobody in the neighborhood bothered them. So that was good. You know what I mean? I said, well, maybe race relations are getting better, but I'm not exactly sure. And I guess in certain parts of the country, it's not as bad. In other parts, it's terrible. Just like they having all these ICE raids and all this protesting. They had a protest in Chicago not too long ago. I think it was held today. One of the YouTube creators shared it on her wall, and I watched a little bit of it, and then I turned it off because I'm not interested in none of that, because they should have saw this coming. When them people voted in Donald Trump again, they should have saw all this trouble coming again. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. But it just seems like to me, a lot of people in this country, especially the powers that be, love a lot of drama and they love a lot of conflict. And I remember when they voted in Ronald Reagan, he was a piece of shit. I remember when they voted in Bush, all them Bush presidents, they were pieces of shit. And I remember when they voted in Donald Trump. He's a piece of shit. And it just seemed like to me this country will always have that race problem. It will never end. It will never fix itself. I don't care how much you call out the racists. I don't care how much you speak out against them, you protest against them, you expose them, because we got some people like that on this platform in this sector. And I believe those people need to be put on blast. They need to be exposed. They need to be shamed. And they need to be ran off this platform. Now, I was in Thaddeus' chat earlier, and he was telling me that Tommy Sotomayor is back on these YouTube streets. And I believe some other people was trying to tell me earlier, a few days ago, that Tommy Sotomayor was back. I'm going to tell you guys this. I followed Tommy on this platform from 2013 to 2021. His message is still the same. But when I found him back then, I needed to hear him talk about our community and the way he talked about them. But he was fair because he talked about the black community, he talked about the white community, he talked about the Hispanic community, he talked about everyone. He was not like Dr. Michael Savage or Rush Limbaugh or Dr. Laura. Because I remember we had some real conservatives back then on the fucking radio, tearing up the fucking mic with all that racial talk. Tommy just basically comes in and he points out certain things about the black community that he himself has experienced. And I could relate to Tommy because Tommy would talk about things that were so fucking true and so fucking raw and so fucking real. And that is why I started following him. Not because of his talking points so much, but it's just the way he would tell the stories, the way he would express himself, the way he would come out with his own singing points, his own songs. Tommy is very talented. But we see what happens with talented people. People find a reason to get rid of them. People find a reason to get rid of them. Shout out to the chat. Thank you for coming in. Shout out to you. Thank you for coming in. I know it's early in the morning. I know you want to go to bed. You can always catch the replay, but I appreciate your view. But yeah, they was talking about Tommy coming back to these YouTube streets. And I didn't get excited. Some of the other people got excited. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of the people that are excited that Tommy is back, they're only excited because they believe he's going to fight against Kwame Brown. And I don't see that happening. Thus far, none of the Browns have verbally attacked Tommy Sotomayor. So I guess everything is smooth over. I guess everything is good with them now. I guess Tommy don't want to make no ripples. So to get people focused on him, to get him kicked back off of YouTube. But I do like Tommy. And I like him because he's real with his shit. He's not no fake, phony motherfucker. I've never known him to be a fake, phony motherfucker like Kwame Brown and the Kwame Brown relatives. Kevlo, all of them. I don't give a fuck about none of them dudes. They came to YouTube to make trouble, to make money, and that's it. Tommy, he's real with his shit. He's real with his shit. And when he talks about what happens in some of these black homes, he be telling the goddamn truth. The way he talks about some of these black mothers, yo, that should be true. That should be real. Because a lot of you black mothers out there, and I know you don't want to hear me saying it, but it needs to be said. You got a lot of nerve to have these girl children, these female children, and when the child gets a certain age, all of a sudden, you don't see her as being your daughter no more. You don't see her as being your child no more. So you try to get rid of her. Or you put her in an uncomfortable position where her life becomes very different and very difficult. And that is why a lot of mothers and daughters don't get along with each other, because the mothers become insecure with their own daughters in the house. You bring all kinds of men into your fucking house, and you don't expect none of these men to look at your kid. And what a lot of black women and most women in general don't realize, sometimes the man don't want you. He not dating you for you. He's dating you to get next to your children. Sometimes he don't want your daughter. Sometimes he might want your son. And bitches don't think about that. Bitches don't think about, let me protect my child. Let me protect my child. A lot of you bitches don't need to be mothers. I look at the animal kingdom, and one of the animals I do look at on YouTube or through the books or the magazines or anything like that or on TV, those mothers, those female lions, are very protective of their children. Those female lions will defend their children, and they will die defending their children. If their children get killed, the mothers go into a grief state, and they never forget how that child died, how that child passed away. A lot of you human women, those that are made in the image of God, you don't do the same thing for your children. And I'm glad Tommy exposed it. I'm glad Tommy brought it out. I remember a few years ago, there was this man. He took an extension cord and he was whipping on his two female children for twerking. He caught them twerking or whatever the case may be. He took an extension cord. He beat them. He whooped them. I mean, he hurt those kids. Tommy reported it on it. And Tommy was saying how a lot of that stuff floated down from one generation to the next generation. And a lot of people don't want to address the fact that in our community, I'm not talking about any other community because I'm not from the white community. I'm not from the Asian. I'm not from the Hispanic. I'm from the black community. Black people. Shout out to the chat. Where child abuse is acceptable. It's accepted. Mistreatment of children is acceptable. I don't mean no harm, but I do mean some harm. We got a lot of motherfuckers running around here on these streets in real life that should be locked up somewhere. We got motherfuckers in this world who call themselves gang members or whatever the case may be, going around killing people. So in our community, there's a lot of serial killers walking around. They're not documented as being serial killers. They're not being documented as being mass murderers. They're not being documented in any kind of fashion or form, in any kind of way. No one is speaking up against them. I remember growing up in New York as a child, and I didn't hear a lot of kids when they got like to be 13 or 14 years old. Now, when they were younger, a lot of people I grew up with, when they were younger, they wanted to grow up to be teachers. They wanted to grow up to be doctors, lawyers, Congress people, people to sit on the city council, people to own and manage a store or a restaurant or run a building. But as they got older and as I moved around this country and lived in different states, as a young person before my incarceration, I met a lot of young people that wanted to be drug dealers. I met a lot of young people that were gang members, and they were proud to be gang members. I'm talking about the black gangster disciples. I'm talking about the gangster disciples. I'm talking about the vice lords, the conservative vice lords, the insane vice lords, the Latin kings, the Latin counts, the El Rooks, the Black Peace Stones, the Blood gang members, the Crip gang members. I met a lot of young people that felt that is all this world had to offer them. And a lot of them didn't make it. A lot of them didn't make it. I lived in New York from the day I was born until I was 15. After that, I moved down south. And then I went on to Job Corps. And then later on, I went to prison. And I got out of prison. Then I moved back to New York, back to Westchester County. I lived in New Rochelle. I lived in Mount Vernon. I lived in Yonkers. I worked in White Plains. I experienced so much just being back in New York. And then I got that call back in 2011. And I don't mean no harm. There was one YouTuber that laughed about the story when I told about what happened to my family in Newport News, Virginia. Not laughed, they mocked me. And then a few years later, that's why sometimes they say, if you don't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. You mocking someone, you making fun of someone, you questioning someone, and then a few years later, that shit happens in your family. How does it feel? Shout out to the chat. And the black community is so twisted. We got motherfuckers that's on the sex registry living in our communities, and people are not talking about it. People are not exposing these people. And these people need to be exposed. And I don't mean no harm. These people need to be locked up for life. If you go out here committing sexual offenses, you need to be locked up for fucking life. Shout out to the chat. And that's exactly how I feel about it. That's my fucking opinion. And when I was at that office on Friday, it was me and another woman. We was in there. And we was talking. And she was like, Arabia, wasn't you on a ticket maybe a week ago and you was going out every day? I said, yeah, I was going out every day. She said, what happened to that ticket? I said, one particular day, the whole ticket changed up. She didn't say nobody from the original ticket. I was the only one there that day. And I don't mean no harm. I think she should have reached out to those other two dudes that was on that ticket. That woman didn't reach out to nobody. She replaced everyone on that ticket but me. She was trying to replace me off the ticket because she was trying to rush me, trying to find out where the fuck I was at that morning, because I remember the bus got me there a little bit later. We had a ride to the job, but it was just like like a rush thing. And then the people that she sent on the ticket, I don't think she should have sent those people. I don't think she should have sent those people. And then one of them messed around and got drunk on a fucking job. He was fucked up all that day. And this bitch doesn't listen when people tell her, don't send these drunks out. Don't send these drug addicts out. That's why we don't have the Walmart ticket today. That's why a lot of our tickets are no longer existing. That's why when I went down there Friday, I couldn't get on a fucking ticket because all the fucking drunks and fucking drug addicts and all these homeless people. People she shouldn't even look out for, she looks out for. Shout out to the chat, man. It's sickening. It's sickening. It's frustrating. I got bills to pay. Them losers, them assholes, they ain't got shit to pay. Only thing they worried about is how to get their next drink, how to get their next fix. That's all they fucking worry about. They worry about hanging in the street. They got the police task force for them, but they only do so much with them when they see them sleeping in the fucking park with an open container. You know what I mean? They're still giving out the tickets when actually they're supposed to give out the tickets and hold them in the fucking jail for 30 days. That's what they're supposed to do. That's how they're supposed to be handling the homeless population. I was homeless, but we had enough sense to work a job somewhere, to do the tip service, collect enough money, and go to a motel for a week or two, for a month. Live in the motel and work. Pay that room bill. If the bill is $68 a night, pay the $68. Shout out to the chat. There's some motels, if you go there, the room is $68, and if you give them over $100, you can stay there maybe 2 nights, maybe 3 nights, depending on who you're dealing with, depending on who's running the place. Shout out to the chat. But yeah, I'm glad to see that Tommy is back. I'm glad to see he is back, but I'm weary. I'm weary of these people in this sector. Because we got some evil people in this sector. We got some wicked motherfuckers in this sector. And the most wickedest and the most evil people we got in this sector always seem to be talking about that God. Always seem to be calling on the name of Jesus. And they the biggest demons in this sector. And y'all know who the fuck I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about Bishop. I'm not talking about Escufu. I'm talking about there's another one. And y'all know who that is. That's Queen Regina. Biggest demon on here. People be trying to ignore her, and you can't fucking ignore her because she like to come in and cause problems and confusion anyway. And I used to think, like, as time passed, you can get over, thinking certain things about people, and you might not think, but it's that way, man. Shout out to the chat. She seemed to be cool on some days, and other days she seemed not to be very cool. You know what I mean? And nothing is right about you coming to social media and taking people to court. Nothing is right about that. Nothing. And I'm just sitting back and I'm watching the YouTube streets and I'm seeing certain things that's happening. And I don't mean no harm. There's a lot of cult-minded people on these YouTube streets. They don't have a mind of their own. They're not independent, critical thinkers. They rather follow someone else and follow. Are you going to follow that person when they go in the grave? Are you going to follow that person when they go into the pits of hell? Are you going to follow that person when they face their own judgment? Are you going to follow that person if something bad happens to them? Are you going to follow that person if they become a serial killer or a mass killer? Because we have some people on this app that were followers of the New York subway shooter. Remember, he had over 500 subscribers. Who are those people and where are they now? Who are those people and where are they now? Because they were following him. They followed him on YouTube. They followed him on Facebook. They followed him all over social media. They listened to him. They co-wrote what happened in the New York subway. Nobody reported him. I did something on this app a few years ago. Some people didn't like it. I got reported. The police came to this fucking house. The police can come to this fucking apartment, but when the New York subway shooter was talking about doing what he was getting ready to do, nobody reported him. Nobody called the cops. All of a sudden, everybody caught amnesia. They didn't know what 911 was. But when it came to me doing my little fucking video, all of a sudden now, we got all these snitches. We got all these informants. All these so-called concerned citizens. I ain't no concerned citizen. You just wanted to see me get locked the fuck up. It didn't happen. The cops came here. They talked to me. They got back in their car and they left. They minded their own business. They stayed in their own lane. But I'm just saying that some people in this sector are very wicked. And you don't see them right away. You don't see them from the door. And don't get into a fucking heated argument with some of these sons of bitches in this app or in the sector, because they will try to dox you. Stalk you, be obsessed with you, fuck with you for years and years, and then when you speak up, they want to pretend that they wasn't throwing rocks. Like that fucking racist in this fucking sector. And she ain't the only one that's a racist. So yeah, I'm glad Tommy's back. But how long he gonna be back before you niggas kick him back off again? Because I know he gonna end up saying something that somebody don't fucking like. And you gotta remember, Kwame Brown is Tommy Sotomayor's enemy. Because he don't like how Tommy exposed him a few years ago. That's right, he exposed your punk ass. Man, talking about Kwame Brown in such a way, all Kwame Brown relatives is on the YouTube streets now. Ain't none of them say anything to Tommy because they know better. They know better. They know he gonna drag them. And if Tommy is back, that means Soda Nation is back on these YouTube streets. Real strong. There's some of us still here from the old crew. There's a lot of us are spread out, scattered. Some of us on social media platforms elsewhere. But now Tommy's back. So the nation is going to build itself back up. And I don't mean no harm. We got to protect. We got to protect each other now more than ever. Fuck these Kwamites. I'm closing out this video. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I know the rest of you are tired and sleepy. Get some rest. Get some rest for the rest of the weekend to be done with. I'm trying to see who this person was that wrote up on the. I don't even recognize their name. But shout out to the chat. I'm out of here. Good night, everyone. I'm going to fix me a cup of Kool-Aid, fire up me another cigar, and then after that, I'm going to lay back down and I get up in the morning, take me a shower, put on my clothes, perhaps go back to the store. I don't know right now. I don't think I'm going because I only got $1 left in my account. I don't need to go. So I'm just going to clean up the house, straighten it out, organize it, get it ready for this week because I don't want to, do what I did last week. I think that put me at a disadvantage. But you can't. There's no win. There's no win for me. I don't see a win coming. We was on a ticket, regular ticket, and one motherfucker fucked it up. Crabs in the barrel, man. Crabs in the barrel. And no way in the world she didn't see that the man was already fucked up that morning. She saw it. She ignored it. She put him on a ticket. He cost her that fucking contract. And she fucking knows it. Instead of addressing the problem, she doesn't address the problem. If it was me, if I was in the position and I was running the company, nobody that's on drugs, on alcohol, would be working for me. And if you're homeless, guess what? You got 2 weeks to get yourself in that homeless shelter or you're not working for me. Trust. Because if you got people in there that got some kind of responsibilities, real responsibilities, they got rent, they got bills to pay, they got to get on that bus, they got to provide for their family or themselves, they got to put groceries in the house, they got to keep their house clean, so you need certain items and materials in order to keep the house clean. You need your mops, you need your brooms, you need your vacuum cleaners, you need your sponges, you need your washing detergent, you need the dishwashing detergent, you need bleach. All that. You need money to get to the laundromat. If you got to go to the laundromat, if you don't got a washer and dryer. Because a lot of us on this app don't have no real money. And it's kind of fucked up when you go and work. I'm not talking about big corporations. They got the same, I don't mean no harm. They got the same shit going on different jobs. Even in certain banks where they have employed people with substance abuse issues. I had a substance abuse issue for years. I'm just getting a handle on it. I got 3 months clean now. 3 fucking months clean. But it's a struggle every day for me to stay straight, for me to stay clean and sober. But I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I got responsibilities. I had responsibilities before. I got responsibilities now. And it seems like, and I don't mean no harm, but I do mean some harm. It seems like when you do get yourself together or you do catch that breath and you do try to do things the right way, that's when all hell breaks loose. That's all, and then all of a sudden, there's no God around, and there's nothing but demons and devils all around you. You're surrounded by the enemy. And I don't mean no harm. That's what Tommy Sotomayor talks about. He talks about that. A lot of people don't hear his message. I don't care how much he talks about black women. He talked about black women in 2013. That's when I started taking that goddamn mirror and looking at myself real close. And that is why I carry the name BT1000, because that's exactly what it is, what the program is. Because I wasn't here for the community when I was younger. I didn't give a fuck about the community. I didn't give a fuck about who I hurt. Everyone was expendable. You ever heard of a hurt dog syndrome? The dog is in the street. The dog gets hit by a car. Of course the dog gonna be injured. Laying there in pain, whimpering, crying. Someone comes by, tries to pick the dog up. The dog is not looking at the person as being helpful. They're saying to themselves in their mind, because they're focused on the pain, they're focused on being uncomfortable. They snap. They attack. They go after the person that helps them. That's what the BT1000 does. Because she's hurt or destroyed, or she feels defeated, or she feels alone, she feels it's all right to destroy the people around her. That's the way I was when I was young. I didn't give a fuck about nothing, nobody. That's how I ended up in the fucking penitentiary. And when I got out, I was 28 years old? 2 years short of turning 30. Around that time, I just stayed to myself in my 30s, in my 40s. Now I'm 52 years old. Even though I'm not out there in the street causing all kind of havoc and problems, I still see certain things inside of me that still say, regardless of how old you are, you're still the BT1000. When you hear me do my intro, this is your homegirl, Bosa 914, which is the kind of New York. I will say the BT1000. I will say the Jeeper Creeper on this shit. Lucy the Vampire. The German Shepherd in the goddamn room. Because the German Shepherd is in the chat. Shout out to the chat. And those that have been knowing me on this app for years, not months, not days, not weeks. Shout out to all my new subscribers. I got some new subscribers. And welcome to my home. Welcome to my channel. I am your homegirl, Barbosa. Or better known as Arabia, the BT1000. Because even though I'm trying to do the right thing, and trust me, ever since I've been out of the penitentiary, I've been doing the right thing in a lot of situations. But there's no reward. And I find myself snapping. As I did before, when the dog gets healed from its wounds, it never forgets how it got injured, or who did it, or who was responsible. I ain't gonna never forget. I don't care how many years of therapy I do. I don't care what kind of psychiatrist I see. I don't care about what social worker I'm talking to, or therapist, or sponsor, AA sponsor, NA sponsor. I don't care how many times I do the steps. I'm never gonna forget who the fuck created the BT 1000. Because Arabia Barbosa was doing just fine until motherfuckers wanted to violate me at 9 years old. Violate me, disrespect me, and then think it was okay. Went through years and years. You know, I didn't get an apology for nothing nobody did until a few years ago. And the only reason why I got the apology is because my biological mother was standing 20 feet away. So the woman that raised me only apologized to me when she found out my biological mother was in my life. That's the only time. She never apologized for any of the bullshit, any of the dirt that she took part of, or the shit she didn't report. She didn't do nothing until the biological mother showed her face. She didn't do nothing until that biological, my mother, was standing 20 feet away from her. And my mother was coming. The fuck you mean this and that happened to my daughter when she was young? What the fuck you were doing? She said, I know I wasn't doing the right thing because my mother was out there in them streets. My biological mother was out there. But this other woman that was supposed to have took care of me, she was supposed to have replaced the other one. She didn't replace her. She didn't. She didn't do anything to replace that woman. My biological mother, me and her don't get along right now. We're separated from each other. But Tommy Sotomayor talked about all these he talked about the real. And he's not no social worker. He ain't no therapist. He ain't no counselor. He's a YouTube creator, a man. But he know about life. And he able to talk about it. So a lot of you know about life too, but you don't talk about it. You want to come on here and gossip about what a woman is doing when she go to a fucking bar somewhere, or whether she's in a relationship with someone. You shadowing certain people on this app because you don't fucking like them, but at one time you all sat with these people you don't like. You sat with them, you communed with them, you supported them, you helped them. Now all of a sudden they're the enemy. Yeah, I'm glad Tommy Sotomayor is back, but we already know. We already get the gist of it. And we accept it. I don't give a fuck if he talk about black women until the end of time. Expose them. Expose them for what they are and what they do. Especially the ratchet Because like I said, I didn't get in a fucking apology till my actual blood mother was standing not too far back. And she approached the woman. Approached. And walked away. In a few years, the woman that raised me, she passed away in 2019. She is messy in death as she was in life. Shout out to the chat. And I didn't do nothing to this woman. I met her when I was 18 months old. It seemed like the older I got, she just wanted to destroy me. And I don't care what nobody say. If there is a God, why did God put that demon in my life? What was the purpose? What was the purpose? Because I didn't learn nothing useful from that woman. Nothing. I learned along the way. And then when I went to the penitentiary, I learned even more. And then when I got out, I still practiced what I learned. But I didn't learn much from her. Didn't. Shout out to the chat. I'm 52 years old. And yes, I am the BT 1000. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my life. Welcome to my home. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my reality. Welcome to my nightmare. It's going to be good days and it's going to be bad days. Welcome. Because I'm going to keep it real and I'm going to keep it raw. And I don't give a fuck if I offend people. I don't give a fuck if I hurt people's feelings. Because nobody gave a fuck when somebody hurt my feelings. Nobody gave a fuck when they try to injure me. It's not about injuring people. It's just letting you know I'm not going to sit here and not speak my mind. Shout out to Just Jay for speaking her mind. And we need more females to speak their mind. Don't worry about who likes you and who don't like you. Shout out to Moonlight. Shout out to Brown Skin Lady. Shout out to the women on this app that actually speak their fucking mind and they're not scared to speak it. Shout out to Soulfly. Shout out to Miss 504. Shout out to Lonnie One Love. Speaking their mind. Shout out to Queenie. Speaking her mind. Shout out to some of the moderators that be in the chat. Some of the subscribers that be in the chat and they speak their mind. They're not afraid. They don't bite their tongue. They speak the truth. You speaking truth to power when you speak up and you speak your mind and you're not afraid. You're not intimidated. Got a lot of motherfuckers on this app that's intimidated. They're afraid to speak their mind. They're afraid if I speak my mind, nobody will be my friend. If I speak my mind, I'll be left alone. You already left alone. You're by yourself. You got some people on this app that, yes, they'll be true to you, some. And when you find those some people that will be fair to you, that will treat you like a human being, it is your responsibility to treat them with the same respect. Nothing no different. No more, no less. Treat them with respect. Treat them with kindness. But yeah, I thank God for Tommy Sotomayor. I do. I thank God for Tommy Sotomayor. I'm glad he came at a time in my life when I needed to hear it from a black man. I thank him for being a black man. I thank him for being a man. I thank him for being a father. Tommy Sotomayor is a father. We got a lot of fathers on this app. They don't take care of their children. They don't do a goddamn thing for their children. But just look at them. And half of them don't even do that. Half of them don't want to do it. They can call Tommy all the names they want to call him. But I'm going to tell you one thing. That man speak the goddamn truth when you talk about some of the relationships that's going on in the black community, how some of these people are behaving, how some of these people do be looking. He's telling the goddamn truth. And when I first heard his voice and his message, I didn't get mad and offended with him. I said, you know what? This man, he telling the truth. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. My biological mother didn't like Tommy. Oh no, she hated Tommy. I would play Tommy every day. And then there was one day she turned to me and she said, why are you listening to that man? You hear that man talking bad about black women. I said, he must have hit your nerve because he talking about you. She didn't like that. What do you mean by that? I said, ain't no way in the world one woman gonna come out here in the free world, get pregnant 5 times, have 5 children, and give them all to the fucking system and think that she didn't do nothing wrong. And I told her, I said, you're the reason why all that shit happened. Everything that bad happened to your children, you are the reason why. And he's talking about it. Yo, she hated Tommy. Every time he came on, I don't like Tommy. She liked Dr. Umar. She liked that scammer Dr. Umar. I like Tommy. I played Tommy. There was a woman from the Nation of Islam, Shahrazad Ali. I hope I'm saying her name right. Hope I'm not chopping her name. I don't call her Sister Ali. She wrote a book a few years ago, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. The black women became so enraged when that book came out. Some of them, not all of them. But I remember when she wrote the book came out when I was still a teenager. The book came out while I was still a teenager. And everywhere I went in the black community, people were reading her books. Just like people were reading the books that Elijah Muhammad had wrote. Just like people was reading the books that Louis Farrakhan had wrote. Like people was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. Shout out to the chat. When I was growing up in that house as a teenager, and we used to read these books, my brother, he became a 5% around that time. He found the truth. He found the light. And he started sharing what he was learning. And then one particular day, he handed me a book. He said, I want you to read this book and don't let so-and-so find you with this book because it's going to be hell. We went on like that for like a year or two, and then, after a while, he was like, "Hey, this is what it is, and this is where it's gonna be." He stopped eating pork. He stopped eating meat. But he was always a drinker. He was always a cigarette smoker. So he had vices. And he himself became a father. But he was a better father to his children than what our biological father was to us. Because my biological father was never afforded the right or the opportunity or the chance to be in our fucking life because that fucking bitch interrupted it. And she allowed these white people, these social workers, these lawyers, these judges, the court system, the family court system, to come into our lives and destroy our lives. These people went through hell and back to try to separate me from my family. They never wanted me to know who my family was. They never wanted me to meet none of my family. When I was growing up, if I would have met them at 15 years old, maybe I could have saved myself from becoming a self-mutilator. If I would have met my family at 15 years old, maybe I would have never went to the fucking penitentiary. If I would have met my family at 15 years old, maybe, just maybe, I would be married now and I would have my own children. I would have had grandchildren by now. But the powers that be, them fucking social workers, them fucking people at the family court system kept tabs on all my mother's children. They was angry with me when I first wanted to find her. When I first wanted to find my mother, I reached out to them. I wrote them a letter. They became upset with me. I'm telling you, those people that were social workers back then, they were very prejudiced. They were very racist. The judges, the lawyers, all of them. And they found it necessary to try to destroy Black families. I didn't meet my biological family, my original family, until I was 30 years old, 28 years of separation. I visited with my grandmother as a child until I was 7 years old. Then all of a sudden the visit stopped because the enemy wanted to destroy any positive thing that I had going on in my life. The only person that truly loved me, which was my grandmother, they took her away. When I went to court at the age of 9 years old, and the judge was asking me, who do you want? I told him, I said, I want to live with my grandmother. I do not want to live with these people. I don't care how long I've been living with them. I want to live with my grandmother. They said that was not possible. So we visited with my grandmother until I was 7 years old. The visit stopped, and I didn't see her no more until I was 30 years old. 30 years old! And she just died last year. So I had her for a few years. And I didn't call her abuela, which is grandmother in Spanish. I didn't call her grandma all the time. I was like, mama, mommy, big mom. I'd be talking to her and be like, yo, mom, what do you think about? And she was like, oh. We have the same laugh. And I hear that laughter in my nephews that come from my brother. Shout out to the chat. So yes, I'm glad Tommy Sotomayor is back. Maybe he can reach some more young women. Because when I started listening to Tommy, it was already too late. I was already too old, but I still had enough life in me where I could still see I was not God Almighty, that I was in the wrong for a lot of things I have done. I was wrong. Maybe Tommy can save some other women. There's other generations of black women coming right behind me that need to be saved. And the only way they're going to be saved is if someone tells them the truth. Someone gives them a mirror. Someone gives them a glass of water and don't ask for the glass back. You get a glass of water sometime from someone, you drink the water, they want their glass back, and then they take their glass and smash you in the head with it. That's what a lot of these YouTube creators do. Not all, but some. But I got some good YouTube creators. Shout out to them. And they keep it real with me. If it's something that I'm doing that they don't like, trust me, they will speak up. They're not afraid of the BT 1000. Hey, Brooklyn Hood, good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Good morning. I know it's early. I've been talking for a little while. I was saying how happy I am that Tommy Sotomayor was back on these YouTube streets. And I'm wishing him well. I'm telling people what he did for me. Yeah. I get a little emotional when I think about him. He's like, it is what it is. Arabia, did you like Denzel movie Trinity? Yes, I did. I did like his movie very well. I liked all of Denzel Washington movies. The man he's a miracle. He's a miracle on film and stage. He's a miracle. Yes, I appreciate it. And he's from Mount Vernon, New York. He's from 914 Westchester County, New York. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, Denzel Washington is from 914 Westchester County, New York, just like DMX, just like Mary J. Blige, just like the Lox, just like Jadakiss, and a few other people. Shout out to the chat. But I want to thank everyone that came into the chat and Coco Tasso, that like button. Shout out to Brooklyn Hood. He from Brooklyn, New York. He was in the building. I thank him so much. I thank everyone that comes over and visits with me. I don't know how long I've been, been long over an hour. It's almost like I walked downtown, but I'm not walking this morning. I don't work for right now, everyone, I do not work on the weekend. For right now, I do not work on weekends or holidays. For right now, that will soon change, soon come. Shout out to the chat. But let me get out of here. Hope everyone has an awesome Sunday. I hope Uncle L was able to enjoy his birthday. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to my subscribers, my new subscribers, my old subscribers. Shout out to my support team. Shout out to some of my YouTube creators. Shout out to the women YouTube creators that do speak their mind. And they're not afraid to speak it. Shout out to the men YouTube creators that speak their mind. They're not afraid to do that. They don't follow after other people. They're not in no groups. They do their own thing. Shout out to them. And shout out to Tommy Sotomayor for coming back to these YouTube streets. He's coming back. His message has not changed. It shall remain the same. Please, Tommy, save these other women. There's other generation of black women that need to hear your message. They need to hear the message. They need to see the mirror. And some of them will become petrified by their own actions and their own behavior. And maybe they too can change. Maybe they too would want to change. We will never stop being, those of us that are the BT 1000, we will never stop being BT 1000s. We just realize now that we are that. And when you realize who you are in real terms, understand it, accept it, and just know how it came to be. Because Tommy said it himself, the BT 1000 is not born, she is created. And unfortunately, a lot of us grow up thinking it's okay to destroy the world. A lot of us think it's okay to be a lawnmower and mow everyone down. Some of us think it's okay to be a weapon of mass destruction, and you think it's okay because a lot of these women, you got some that have no conscience. They have no conscience. They have no empathy. They have no sympathy for anyone. I was once that too. I didn't care about nothing and nobody. I didn't give a fuck if I hurt you, if I didn't hurt you. As I got older, as I got in my 30s, I discovered that wasn't the right thing to do. Shout out to the chat. I'm out of here. Y'all have an awesome weekend. It's morning now, so good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm out. Peace.